Morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, May 13th, 2025. I'm going to go ahead and call the Jackson County Board of Supervisors meeting to order. My name is Don Swanker. To my right is Nan Flegel. To my left, Mike Steinis. We have Bjorn from IT, Lisa from the Auditor's Office, Luann in the back with our executive assistant. We have Brittany from the press, and first up is Jaden Shekel with County Engineer's Office. Good morning.
Good morning. Only thing on our agenda item today is to set date for another public hearing for the level B discussion that we had the public hearing for last week, as it relates to the resolution for the roadways to be set.
Are we at that point yet?
We have our work session today. I mean, I feel like we are. I feel like so from last week's meeting, there was really 3 roads in question. Everything else, there's no comments brought forward on anything, and our office has done some deeper digging last week after everything that occurred and found minutes from 1982. So this was prior to when the county had separate resolutions stating like actual document itself, resolution stating all the roads. The resolution back then were included with the board minutes, which would explain why we could not find a separate resolution in the index of resolutions. But from that meeting in 1982, they had actually designated what we're proposing. 90% of the roads that we are proposing have already actually been approved as level B. So a lot of it's straightforward. It's just really, I think the issue is those 3 roads that were brought up at last week's public meeting.
So when would it be?
I was thinking May 27th, which would be the day after Memorial Day, or if that.
So we're at the 13th today, so that'd be 2 weeks. We still have 2 weeks to discuss it. So if we set it, and if we don't think we can have it, then what happens?
If we don't have it?
Well, if we don't have our
Proper
decision made.
resolution or
decision made, I think we can have enough discussion in the next 2 weeks to maybe do that. I think.
do we set it for the 3rd just to make sure?
I think
We
the
certainly-
27th is good.
Yes, I'm flexible. I just wanted to, so we
Well,
don't
we'll
forget
keep
this.
moving on it.
Yeah, so I just didn't want this to get lost in the everyday stuff that goes on, so.
I'd
Or
make
if
a
you-
motion to set it for the 27th.
At 9 a.m.
9 o'clock.
I would second.
Got a motion by Nan, second by Mike to set the public hearing for the Level B Road Resolution Designation for May 27th at 9 a.m. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
I'll give an update on construction. They are still doing the asphalt paving on Z34. They're doing the surface lift today, so the last of the asphalt layers on the main line road today. Actually finish up the surface today and then jump to the side roads. So that's going real good. We got the Division Street work in the city of Monmouth for our FM extension work occurring. 1 lane of the concrete has been tore out and poured back last week. The remaining part will be tore out. It's actually getting tore out today and will be poured back tomorrow. And then after that, we'll follow the asphalt milling and overlay.
I did talk to a couple people from Monmouth and they were kind of excited to say that there's a stoplight Monmouth, so it was kind of a big deal.
Yeah, we did that because we did not, even though the contractors to do the concrete work in stages, it'd be quite the detour route for that little bit of time frame that it would take. The detour would have to go all the way up to Onslow and down Highway 136 in Wyoming and down where it'd be a significant detour for a short amount of time. So let's just put the temporary traffic control signal in and we'll just phase the way they do their work. So it's going well. Main and Summit Street, the intersection itself was all poured back last week, and retaining walls are starting today. So weather permitting, it should hopefully be done. It's scheduled to be done by Memorial Day or prior to that, but it just all depends on weather, which we've gotten good weather so far, so everything's been able to move really well. I think that's it for construction going on right now. It's just got a lot going on with.
You had sent us an email and a couple of pictures of some crack filling, or what did you call
Oh,
it?
the VRAM, yes, so. Our Z34 project received HSIP funding last year for the safety improvements like the rumble strips, the wider pavement markings, and part of that was the installation of VRAM, and it stands for Void Reducing Asphalt Material. So what it does is they put their before they put the surface course on, you got your base course. The VRAM, they apply, it's 18 inches wide and straddles over the center line joint. And then they put their surface course on top of that, because then the heat of all that asphalt, it incorporates itself into that last upper lift of asphalt. And it helps minimize your joint deterioration, because with us having milling centerline rumbles, well, joints are always susceptible to deterioration.
Sure.
But with us cutting rumble strips right near that joint to it, this will help minimize any joint
You
deterioration.
don't get moisture that was sitting in them, of course, and then to the joints and to the cracks or whatever you will call it.
Mhm.
I mean, that's where your deterioration comes from. That's from the moisture, I would think, but, you know.
Yep, so
Yeah, it
it's,
looked interesting, like so that's underneath the top layer.
and once they
Okay.
put the top layer on, it's actually gets incorporated into that top layer, so. Which we watched it as they paved the one lane of it, you could watch it kind of bubble up with the heat of that mix, you could watch it bubble up into it, so. But that was part of our HSIP, that was an eligible item for our HSIP funding. So
Nice.
It's kind of like a seam mender type of thing.
it just helps keep that joint from, I mean, inevitably, it's still gonna wanna deteriorate, but it helps minimize it.
Sure.
Keep it lasting longer. So. Yeah,
I
baby's
had a
going good.
gentleman called me and inquiring about the RTCP funding to Baldwin. Was that ever paid to them for their radar signs? Do we know? We need to check into it and see if.
Did they submit a bill?
I know it was talked about.
As we all know, there's a little confrontation with the
RPA.
council and the mayor and firemen and the whole smear there. So, yeah, they're just kind of wondering, some of them that's been ousted, maybe we can check to see if it was paid or submitted or what.
Yeah, if they haven't sent it, typically they'll send the invoice to our office, typically at the city.
And it could have been paid a
So-
long time ago. I don't even know when it was
I
for,
don't,
if it was for last year or the year before or what, yeah.
I guess I don't recall anything coming through our office for an invoice. Or the cities will let us know that, hey, this work's been done. If they don't send us the invoice, we inquire for them to send us the invoice, because that is needed as part of that grant, and then we also verify that the work itself is
Sure.
actually completed, and so, because there's been no correspondence regarding that.
Well, we'll do some
Yeah,
background-
anyway.
We'll do a background check and see where we're at with it.
Yeah.
Need to follow up.
So you want any idea when you might start on that Macadam Road, or is that gonna be this fall, or?
It'll probably be late summer, early fall. There's actually some shuffling in the mix of quarries actually between Wendling and Bar. So, yet to be determined on, so that road we planned was on 234th Street over in the Bernard area, and one of the quarries near the Bernard area is one that's getting shuffled around, and we don't know the status on if they're gonna be crushing in there this year or not, so we need to kind of talk to the quarries to see what their plan is, because that's not the only one that's getting shuffled.
I was gonna
in the
say, it
mix.
kind of sounds like there's quite a few that
Mhm.
At least 3 or 4 anyway.
won't be. crushing
Will
it.
that jeopardize or do anything to our reclaim process?
Nope.
Okay,
No, because,
and that's on schedule and going well, or
yeah, we've got,
Probably getting pretty dry.
hopefully get some rain later today or tomorrow, or Tuesday, Thursday, the way it sounds, maybe there's a chance.
I checked on one of the roads, it's over off of the Caves Road last week, and did another one, yesterday, I went and checked out it. It's turning out, I mean, they're looking beautiful.
I mean,
I really couldn't be happy with what the guys are doing.
I had somebody tell me that Peabody Ridge was hard to drive, and I drove it last night, and my God, it's like, there ain't a bump in it. I mean, no, there's a little crown, that's what we need.
Right.
Can't go fast, is
Is
what
that-
I'm saying.
That's
Slow down,
the
that's my
issue.
exact
It's hard-
words, is slow
Hard
down.
to drive is you can't go 60 on them
If you have
anymore.
to get over to meet somebody, that's the idea, yeah, slow down.
So when they're reclaiming, just I want the public to be aware, like the road's still passable, but just it's a construction project or type of project going on. So but when it's all said and done, I mean, it looks beautiful, and like it always has, it takes about a month for it to get passed.
I was gonna say, you can tell, I drove on a few this weekend that have been reclaimed this year, and Yeah, you can tell, but I drove on some that were reclaimed last year and they're gorgeous.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, they drive nice, they're,
So just want to give the guys kudos because they're doing a really good job. Couldn't be happier with.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, all of them countywide are doing so.
Agreed.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it, Jay.
Thanks, Jaden.
Alrighty.
You bet.
have a good day.
Yep, you as well.
Next up, we have visitors and citizens. Is there anybody, there's nobody here. Is there anybody online? Nope, nobody online, so we will move on. Becky's not here, so Lisa,
I need a motion to approve the minutes of the May 2025 board proceedings and work session as written by Auditor Smith and authorized publication in the official newspaper.
Make that motion.
I would second.
got a motion by Nan, second by Mike to approve the minutes of the May 2025 board proceedings and work session as written by Auditor Smith and authorized publication in the official newspapers. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I need a motion to rescind last week's motion to set a public hearing for a budget amendment on May 2025.
Would move to rescind.
I'd second that.
Got a motion by Mike, second by Nin to rescind last week's motion to set public hearing for the budget amendment on May 2025. Any reason for that or just?
Missed a publication deadline.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I need a motion to set the date for a public hearing for a budget amendment on June 3rd, 2025 at 10 a.m.
I'll make that. I'll second.
Got a motion by Mike, second by Nin to set the date for public hearing on the budget amendment on June 3rd, 2025 at 10 a.m. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All I have for the board.
Now, just a question, everything's good with the publication deadline because it's technically the same amount of time from last week to the 27th and this week to
So we'll
the.
we'll make the publication deadline this Friday.
This Friday, so we didn't make it
We
Friday.
didn't make it last Friday.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Luann? Oh, here's Becky. So
Oh, okay.
Becky, you're up.
No, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome.
You?
Good morning.
Good morning. A few more personnel items for you this morning. So the first one we have is Shane Nixon. He is a part-time sheriff's deputy and he has been with the sheriff's department for 9 months, which is the term of a probationary certificate for deputies. So therefore his certificate has expired. I need to go grab that certificate. But I would ask for a motion to approve the certificate of appointment for Shane Nixon for the period of May 9th, 2025 through January 1st, 2029, which would be the remainder of the sheriff's current term.
Make that motion.
I would second.
Got a motion by Nin, second by Mike to approve a motion for a new certificate of appointment for Shane Nixon for the period of May 9th, 2025 through January 1st, 2029. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And I'll run that back down for you to sign, Don.
That
And then,
doesn't change his status as far as employment to full-time, yeah.
nope, so the part-time deputies are always under, they're fill-in, but they're always under 30 hours as a part-time. That's how much they can utilize them for. And then we recently advertised for an administrative assistant position in the auditor's office, and Lisa and I spent quite a bit of time over the last couple of weeks interviewing for that. And we did end up making an offer for the position. So I would ask for a motion to approve the hiring of Nicole Strathman, effective May 26, 2025, at an hourly rate of $27 per hour, increasing to $30 per hour upon successful completion of a 6-month review, including authorizing the county auditor to issue biweekly paychecks for the same.
Make that motion.
I would second.
Got a motion by Nin, second by Mike to approve a motion approving the hiring of Nicole Strathman effective May 26, 2025 at an hourly rate of $27 per hour, increasing to $30 per hour upon successful completion of a 6-month review, including authorizing the auditor to issue biweekly paychecks for the same. Any other discussion?
Is there a brief explanation on the pay scale? As far as how it was set or determined?
Well, we looked at a lot of things, actually. We looked at kind of what the going rate was, and we realized when we originally advertised for this, we were way under what the expectation was for it. We looked at hourly rates of assistant personnel within the county, and where the applicants wanted to be when we interviewed.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And then the sheriff's department has three remaining PRN correction vacancies. They have filled one more of those. And I would ask for a motion to approve the hiring of Brant Beeston effective May 13th, 2025 at an hourly rate of $21.41, including authorizing the county auditor to issue biweekly paychecks for the same.
So moved.
Second that.
Got a motion by Mike, second by Nan to approve a motion for the hiring of Brant Beeston effective May 13th, 2025 at an hourly rate of $21.41, including authorizing the county auditor to issue biweekly paychecks for the same. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And that's all I have for today.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Cruising. Luann?
Gordon?
Hello.
Nice warm morning.
Perfect.
Calendar for this week. This afternoon at 3:30 is a Macocata River Watershed Management Authority Executive Meeting by Zoom for Don. Tomorrow, Wednesday, May 14th at 9 a.m. is Don's turn on KMAQ's Just Talk. At 1 p.m. is a 0 to 5 in 60 minutes meeting by Zoom for NIN. At 4 p.m. is the Youth and Health and Human Services Aging and Disability Provider Town Hall meeting by Zoom for any of you that want to go to that. Also at 4 o'clock is the Veterans Affairs Commission meeting in the community room for downstairs for any of you. And also at 4 o'clock is longer tentative is the Ports of Eastern Iowa meeting by Zoom only for NIN. Thursday, May 15th at 9 a.m. is the Housing Trust Fund meeting in Dubuque by Zoom for NIN. From 4 to 8 p.m. is Jackson County Area Tourism Association's annual meeting in Sebula for any of you that wanted to attend that. 6 p.m. Thursday night is Limestone Bluffs RC&D meeting downstairs in the community room, and that's for Don. Friday, May 16th from 2 to 6 is the Jackson County Regional Health Center's 75th anniversary celebration at the Regional Health Center for any of you that wanted to attend that. Monday, May 19th, about 1 o'clock is the Eastern Iowa Advisory Council meeting in Davenport for Jack. At 1:30, I tentatively have a Waste Authority meeting of Jackson County meeting for Mike, but we don't know if that's the correct date or where that meeting is going to be held yet. 3 o'clock is Eastern Iowa Mental Health and Disability Services in Davenport for Jack. At 4 p.m. is an Early Childhood Iowa Council meeting in DeWitt for Nin, but she is talking about wanting to move that to the 27th.
27th.
Okay. 6 o'clock that night is Together We Build meeting for Don and Nin. And at 7 o'clock is the Zoning Commission meeting in the community room for any of you. Our next regular meeting will be Tuesday, May 20th at 9 a.m. That afternoon, well, there is the Senior Officials Workshop for all hazards preparedness at the EOC for any of you, but I haven't heard anybody talking about it, so I didn't worry about that.
The Together We Build meeting is 7 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it at 7?
Yeah.
Okay. On the 20th at 12:30 is a safety meeting in the community room for NIN. At 6 o'clock that night will be a work session in here on the Board of Health presentation for all of you. It also is the time of the Jackson County Economic Alliance meeting for Don. But then at 7 o'clock is the Board of Health meeting downstairs in the community room for all of you.
Do we need the work session if that's
No,
kind
that
of a,
work, yeah.
I think that work
canceled.
session might be canceled, might want to check on that.
Okay,
yeah,
okay, so that's,
it is a moot point, I think. It makes it easier for me to get my other meeting.
right, it does. The only other bit of business I have today is I'm looking for motion to approve a fireworks permit for Tom Yearwood on Highway 64 near Macocata on June 28th, 2025.
I would move to approve.
I'd second that.
Got a motion by Mike, second by Nin to approve the fireworks permit for Tom Yearwood at 24103 Highway 64 Macokota for, it looks like is he setting them off on June 28th?
Yes.
All right, any other discussion?
So
Is
I
that
don't,
date within the acceptable
Yeah,
date?
I think it's the 20th or 23rd or something.
Well, we don't, I don't think we have to
I
necessarily
don't
comply
think we
with
do
that.
either.
They should be within the state
Is it-
date, but we always get.
That's in the city
fireworks
limits,
permits.
you mean?
Well, no, state allows fireworks during a certain period around the holiday. But I don't
Around
think,
4th of July and
Yeah.
New Year's or
I
whatever.
But
don't know if it's
we
the
have
right
to-
time or not, but Tom was instrumental in maybe we were trying to work up a new ordinance for the fireworks, storage, if you will. I don't know how that's coming, if we're still working on that.
he's been slowed down, so it hasn't gotten anywhere, but
Yes, yeah.
All right,
Um,
we voted on that, didn't we?
Uh-huh.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
thank you.
All right.
So we got. Oh, Andrew was on our agenda though, right?
Yeah.
The rest of them were work session, no, work session.
Yeah, work session about 10. Too bad we couldn't start the work session. Can we
As far
recess
as the
the meeting?
911 board meeting, we had one last week, and of course you read, I think you guys got the minutes for that yesterday, but again, the big discussion was moving from the, water tower, if you will, which we had moved the building there, and we were gonna move cables in. So now, hopefully, we don't have to splice any joints at Summit and Main and underneath the green space. Hopefully, we can put it on our, behind the police station on the tower. We've done a bunch of testing so far, and it's gonna make a difference of the receiver megawatts or whatever it might be, but we think it's gonna work just fine. We've done some testing with, our main concern is Sevilla, of course, we've been tested several times, that's been a little scratchy, but that's all gonna work out, and it's gonna be much more cost effective for us than run them cables up, move them on the water tower and move them under the street. So that's a good thing.
Well, one thing we got in our packet right here is just the anniversary celebration of an open house of the hospital on Friday, May 16th from 2 to 6. They've been serving the community for 75 years. There's gonna be a small formal program at about 3 p.m. So don't forget about that. Well, we can't really proceed with the work sessions until we get out of meeting, so why don't we take a recess? Right. All right, we'll go ahead and reconvene at this time, and next up, we have Andrew Long, the Jackson County Jail Administrator.
Good morning.
How are we doing?
Not too bad. So currently we're sitting at 35 inmates in the jail. We actually have one female that is shipped out currently to Scott County. We essentially just have the one female pod, it's a dorm style pod that we're using for the females. There was a physical altercation that had occurred about a week ago. With that, we didn't put that female back in the pod. So what we did was made an arrangement with Scott County that they will house her for us and we'll bill one less inmate to them. We only have the two special status cells. They're both tied up with some pretty mentally ill people, so nowhere to really move them. So that's kind of our only option was to kind of make that trade with Scott County. So 34 in-house currently, one in Scott County, 12 of our own inmates and 23 of Scott County's. So what that puts our average at for April was actually at 39. So putting us at 78% capacity, saying they're full at 80%, we've pretty darn close hit to full. Not quite there right now, like I said, 35, but we're kind of keeping that 30 to 40 range right now. In average, April, we're at 32.97 inmates per day. A correction to the previous month's revenue, I originally said $23,100 from Scott County. The correct amount for that is $22,700. Scott County didn't communicate with us very well in terms of if one of their residents was going to return to us. So I he got booked out later than he actually should have. So just a small correction there. For April, we're at $38,115 to Scott County. Obviously, that's our high we've ever had. Bringing our total as of April 30th to $99,165. Very next day, we then passed 100,000. Total, we had 60 bookings in April, which I venture to say is probably the all-time high of what we've ever had for Jackson County. 57,509 documented checks of inmates. Those checks are then when they're going around physically checking the inmates' well-being and scanning with that device. 7,107 observation logs. So those are specific inmate notes that they put in about someone, whether it be off behavior, suicide watch, that kind of a thing. So 7,107 specific notes to inmates. And then over the last month, they actually prepared 2,401 meals. So that in itself is becoming quite the task. In terms of, budget, we are very quickly going over on food. I anticipate next year we probably will be as well. We just didn't anticipate being this full this quick. So I guess it's a good thing to be over on, but we do anticipate, issues there in terms of the budget this year and next year. And then the only thing I have otherwise to kind of brief you on, or I guess I have two other things. We do have one medical cost that'll be coming kind of down the pipes here is we had a gal that had to go by ambulance to Genesis East. That was having some issues. She's got a lot of medical issues as it is. The ambulance arrived and determined it was probably best just to transport her direct to East. So she went direct there. So we'll probably see some costs coming through from that, both from our ambulance service and Genesis East. And then last week was National Correctional Officer Week, so we just thank our correctional officers for all that they do.
So that inmate that you've transported to Genesis, that was one of?
That was one of ours. Yeah.
I also saw that it was National Correctional Officer Week, and I just want to commend you guys, everybody on your staff and you for what you guys are doing. It's been quite a learning curve going to the new facility alone and then expanding capacity. So we want to just thank you for everything you guys have done. You're kind of the unsung hero of the law enforcement community behind the scenes. And it's a good thing that nobody gets to see it, because honestly, if they get to see you, it's probably not under the best.
It's not a good thing.
circumstances.
Not a good day for them.
So-
No, absolutely.
No, but thank you for what you do.
Well, we appreciate that, and I really have to give a shout out to all of our correctional officers. They go above and beyond for us, so yeah, thank you very much.
And please reiterate that for all of us, that
Yeah.
we are certainly appreciative of their efforts and their ability to deal with unknowns that we have so far yet. So
Absolutely.
we hope to move forward in a positive way, and correct some things that we didn't know about maybe, so.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that very much, guys, so thank
And
you.
one side note is, we just finished our audit. There's been a couple of things, and one of them being, paying of retail sales tax and not trying to recoup it. So, there's been a couple of departments that have had issues, yours being one, with buying, so we just need to, probably gonna come up with a policy procedure to go forward and see about how we handle that.
Sure,
So just look for that coming down the pipe.
that sounds good.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Andrew.
Have a good week.
Have a good day.
Stay cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Does anybody else have any boards or commissions? I know, Mike, you talked about the 911 board.
We had the RTA meeting, nothing hugely came out of that. I mean, we're kind of moving forward, always looking for more writers and.
I mean, we talked about funding may be limited or may change.
Yeah, as
in the
time goes
future,
on
and,
here.
I guess a new executive director has not started, full-time yet, so, again, just keep her updated on the
happenings.
ongoing business works and, setting a budget and looking forward to, expenses and revenues. Yeah.
But it does kind of also sound like she's taken the initiative and looking at things ahead of time a little bit and trying to get her bearings on
I
how
think
it's all
she'll be-
going.
I think she'll be a good fit.
So.
All right. If there's nothing else.
I'd make a motion, we adjourn.
Second that.
Got a motion by Mike, second by Nin to adjourn. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Motion carries.